What's going on? This is Lawrence D. Adams, and yes, I am in the house. Let's get it started. Shout out to the elite, the elite core. Shout out to you. What's going on, everybody? I'm about to pull my cam up in a second. I actually was trying to get my lights together. I had something new I wanted to try, but it is to try something different. So definitely shout out to you guys in here. We about to get started in a second. Let me pull the cam up and actually get it. There we go. What's going on, everybody? Up, camera jumped off. Okay, here we go. What's going on, everybody? This is Lawrence D. Adams, and yes, I'm in the building. Let's get it going today. I'm gonna make some adjustments. Just a minute right there. What's going on, everybody? How was your weekend? What's going on? How did you like last week's show with Warren B? Pimp God? Let me know in the chat room how you guys enjoyed that. Today we're talking about whether the tribe you're in is stopping your game in so many words. So let's get going with that. And we're going to get going, and I'm going to start on that in a second. 1 second here. I need to check something. I'm always checking things. So what if the tribe you're in could be stopping your game? Could be stopping your game. As we know, we're talking, so everybody touchdown. We're about to get going, then we'll flow from there. I talked about this on a previous show about how we already talked about, we know when we talk here, we're talking about game. We're always talking about strategy. And sometimes what we don't know is the environment and the people we're around is actually a hindrance to us moving forward or us executing our game. So that is why it's so important that you pick or get the right tribe. Let's get this going. I'm trying to wait a couple of seconds. There we go. YouTube just sent it. That's what I'm waiting on. Once I get that notification from YouTube, then I know it's going good to go. So we'll get started once YouTube sends the notification, let everybody know. But your tribe, who you are around, and your environment is important to the effectiveness of your game or the ineffectiveness of your game. Sometimes the people that you are around are actually the ones who are stopping the effectiveness of your game. Salute Sigma, salute Joe, salute Dre, salute to everybody in the chat room. Salute to the elite core. All of you guys know who you are. TECs. TECs, what's going on to you? So let's get it going. So you need to think about what people are you really around in your life? What is your environment? Because we're going to go a little deep with this one. And if I want to talk a little bit, let me sort of rewind a little bit because I'm so excited to talk about it. But if you enjoy Fridays with me and Pimp God, when we drop some knowledge, that was just, so do you know at the beginning what's going on? Salute, good morning, good afternoon. So everybody know we're going to do that every month for me and Pimp God are going to get together. Warren B going to get together every month, and we're going to talk and have those conversations. So my mind has went to some other things, but we're going to talk every month. So you don't want to miss when we have those conversations. So that you know. But let's talk about this. As we always talk about here, the game is strategy, or it is the way you move or maneuver. Whether you call a game, whether you not, is all in how you maneuver through life. But what we realize here is this. A lot of people are hindered because of the tribe that you're in or the tribe that you are around. So you always need to examine who is your tribe, and do you need to stay in this tribe or do you need to move on? Some people are not the people you need to be around. So let me give a little clarity to what I'm talking about. When you study the lives of those who are in the street or those who are in corporate America, they always have a mastermind group of who they're around. That mastermind group is those who are people who stretch you, who pull you, who tug you, who tell you to examine you, to say, no, that's not right. You may want to adjust that. You always want to be around a mastermind group who actually pulls you and stretch you to be a better version of you. Since everybody want to be a pimp around these days, so let's examine not so much you pimping, but understand the psychology that happens. What they would do is they would go to different restaurants here in Cleveland. They would go to a place called Lancers, and another place they would go, and they would sit down and they would conversate about the game, the pros, the cons, and how to improve it. So what happens is a lot of people have not been around the right tribe into where they're going to conversate to take them to the next level. So it's important that you get around the right tribe. We talked about this before, but I want you to really get it. Your tribe is so important. Who you conversate, what environment. And I know the question is going to come up. Well, how do you pick your right tribe? You pick your right tribe by examining, do they resonate with you? Are they going where you need to go? And do you fit? See, a lot of times the tribe that we're in is only for a season. So you got to know this tribe might be good for this season of my life, but where I'm going next, I need to join another tribe. And so we talked about it before. You need to learn the language of that tribe. You need to learn how they communicate, where they hang out at. That is what will take your game to the next level, because you're in the right tribe. But if you're in the wrong tribe, you will be robbed of your game, because they will keep you stagnant. Something that Warren said, that fresh water that's constantly moving is what? Never stale. But water that's stagnant begins to have a stench, because it begins to pick up the bacteria and all the impurities out of the air and whatever else, and it stops the growth. There's no growth in there. So you need to think about, does the tribe that I'm a part of, does it cause me to grow, or does it keep me hindering from where I need to be at? If it's hindering where you need to be at, you might need to examine that tribe. You might need to examine that tribe, because it's robbing you, holding you up from your game. If y'all resonated with me, you got to let me know in the chat room. You know how I do. If this ain't kicking with you, you need to let me know in the chat room. Let me know in the chat room. This is an interactive. We interact here. This is not a one-man show. This is a group discussion. So let me know in the chat room. This is resonating with you. So your tribe could be potentially robbing you of where you need to be at and where you need to go. And if it's robbing you, you will see a dimension, or you'll see your game begin to decrease, and you don't even know why. Because you realize everyone else is on the same level and they're not striving to go further. So you always want to examine, am I in the right tribe? Am I with the right people? And am I in the right environment? I said this before, but I'm going to say it again. Sometimes you are in the wrong environment for your game to work. You're in the wrong environment. Are they? Yeah, John, you want to pop up, man? I'm gonna get a link to you, because I know you can. We definitely are they adding to your life, or are they taking away from your life? There's a link, John. Are they adding to your life, or are they taking away from your life? What's going on? What's going on? Hey, what's going on, Leisha? What's going on? What's going on, Maya? Yeah, appreciate you coming through. We definitely had a good conversation. You must ask yourself that question. Are they adding to your life, or are they taking away from your life? Your tribe could be robbing you right now, could have you against the wall, telling that this is a stick up. So you need to think about you right now. Could have you against the wall. Telling that
Playing
this
back.
is a stick up. Somebody playing back. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I had to turn off YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that happens. All right. Yeah, taking all your advice. I most definitely appreciate that. So you got to think about your tribe could be having you held up right now against the wall and say, this is a shakedown. And it's stopping you from moving into the most effectiveness of your game. You got to think your tribe, who you hang with, your environment could be detrimental to where you need to be at. And like a fish, certain fish don't belong in certain waters. If you put them in certain waters, they will die. So you need to think about and examine, what is the tribe that you're around really doing? Or do you need to change your tribe ASAP? I know you got something, John.
Exactly. I mean, I think we talked about this before, even about the ground you plant seed in. Have you been, planted in the right area where you could be most fertile? And that has to do with the people that's around you. Is your environment, and, nobody's trying to say the way you grew up isn't a foundation for that. That is a stepping stone. But once you become an adult, you become self-aware, you need to now place the people in your environment that makes it important for your production. And what people need to understand is that when your friends perpetuate you spending your money, when your friends perpetuate you not progressing career-wise, when your friends perpetuate you not participating in real life situations like saving money and investing, and you're not hanging around the right people. We have to actually be responsible and take action when you see that there are people around you that are draining you. First of all, a person that borrows money from you doesn't pay you back, then you'll be out of your life. A person who calls you up to tell you all their bad news, and when you tell them what to do, they don't change and they don't do anything to really fix the situation after you told them what you thought. You're not supposed to be a psychologist here, but if you literally told them, hey, that's toxic, and you get out of it, and they don't do it, get them out of your life, because what they're trying to do is, instead of taking your advice, they're trying to drain your energy so you don't progress. So now, I don't think that's rocket science there. You know what I'm saying? I think it's really just a logistical situation where you just have to just evaluate, make a sheet, get a piece of paper and put on their pros and cons. The pros of the people that you have in your life, what are they adding to your life? And then there are going to be some items that they are taking away. But if the pros outweigh the cons, then you keep them. If the cons outweigh the pros, you got to get rid of them.
You just answered your question, Sigma. You just answered your question. What advice do you give for people that think they are strict think they are to strictly with your assets assessment? Okay, what advice do you give for people that think they are too strict?
Well, what happens? What he's trying to say is there's an assessment that a person made. That say you're the one giving the assessment of something. If they think you're too strict, then that means they can't handle you. They can't handle you. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. You need to have people on your level. Mm-hmm. If you're not dealing with somebody on your level, then there's no question at all. I got a friend I've had for almost 40 years of my life. Okay, I met him in kindergarten, and I'm telling you, me and him spar back and forth, and we challenge each other. Mm-hmm. We give each other accolades when we level up, like we buy a car or whatever. We're not jealous. We're not saying, oh, I need that. No, we say, oh, I like that. And all of a sudden, the next year he may get something else. The next year I might get something else. We challenge each other to get better in life. We challenge each other with our relationships. We challenge each other with you want somebody that's sparring with you, a spar partner, not an enemy and not an opponent, not a person that you're afraid of, a person that will spar with you and toss it back and forth to make sure we get all the ideas out so we don't make a mistake.
And that's what I think a lot of people miss it at right there. You say, okay, this guy said something to be Renaissance. Women can drain your energy. I got to leave them right there, right then. Yeah. So you feel like even if it's men, women, wherever the case may be, if they are draining your life, you need to think, because we're talking about tribe, does this person fit in my tribe or do I belong with them? You always need to take an assessment of like, this is not good. Because if it's draining your life, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to have the power or the strength to execute your game, hence strategy, in what you're doing because they're draining your life.
Yeah, some people have the wrong position. Sometimes, I'm not putting anybody's business out by my own right now, but I had an ex-wife, and you know what? She demanded a lot of my personal time because what happened was I had a great opportunity to work 3 days a week to make a full salary. I wanted to use the other 4 days to build a business, and she wanted to use that time to make sure that a lot of extracurricular stuff got taken care of, and that to me was not productive, especially when I didn't have any kids. I had no children. At that point in your life, you're supposed to be building. I was 20 years old, and it was wrong. We should have been friends. She had a wrong position. I don't consider her a bad person. I consider her a great person in my life, but she had the wrong position. We should have been friends. You see, sometimes you have somebody in your life that's got the wrong position, and guess what? They're drawing on you the wrong way.
Right. Salute, Alpha Kingdom. What's going on, bro? Salute. And so you need to think about it. Who's in the wrong? If you have a tribe or you're part of a tribe, what position do they have in your life? Because if they're in the wrong position, just as Jadon just said, guess what's going to happen? He was not able to build like he needed to be, execute his game because he had somebody in the wrong position. Same as me. I had someone else in the wrong position. And guess what happens? Your focus begins to get on them and not on the goal game you need to exercise to get you to the next level. This is not just in relationship wise. This is life. Please understand what we do over here. This is life game. This is salute. Thank you for the super chat, Alfie. Appreciate that. So this is life right here. You need to always examine your tribe, and you got to think. And I put it out there. I probably got to reword it. You got to think. Does the tribe that you have, is it robbing you of your game? And most time, because of the tribe that you have, it is robbing you. And let me say this: the environment that you're around. The environment that you are around. The environment that you are around. Not just your environment, your physical, but the mental space that you're in also too can be robbing you from moving forward. That's why it's so important to have the right people in the right positions in your life. As you said, John, the person that you've been knowing since kindergarten, if they're not stretching you, they're either what? They are in essence stopping you.
And you know what? You want to hear something funny? I'm going to make that statement even more severe. Okay. If a person isn't adding to you, they are taking away from you. It's not just neutral. There's nobody neutral in your life. Okay. The only people neutral are the people you friended on Facebook you don't talk to. If you have somebody in your life that has your phone number and they can pick up the phone and do anything, if they haven't added to you, then they are taken away from you. It's very simple. And what happens is we don't evaluate that. What we do, we give. You're a good person, you give. In some arenas, you may be called a sucker. In other in other areas, you might be called a guru, or you may be called helpful or influential. But at the same time, they're draining from you. That's the reason why we ask you to support the channel, because if you just take this information that we give you, you're stealing it. And I hate to use that word, but you're taking it away without paying for it. That's stealing. And the first thing you're not paying is not money. You're not paying attention, because if it doesn't fix you, we wouldn't have mind giving it to you if it didn't already fix you. We want you to be helped. But if you're not at least using it to pay attention, then maybe put a donation in one of the opportunities to put it into the Lawrence D. Adams channel. What happens is you haven't paid nothing.
So what you're saying is we might have some robbers that get to here every day and they never participate in paying attention on two levels, energetic levels. with their minds, intention, and with their pockets.
Yeah. So you're draining. You're just sucking the information. You're sucking the information down. When this rebroadcast, if it's monetized, you might get something that way. But if they don't even watch the commercials, that's even worse. That's like the lowest bottom feeder version, right? You're trying in many ways to give people the opportunity to pay attention or pay for the appreciation of the opportunity to be here. We're telling you right now, this platform is one of the groups you need to be part of. This platform is one of the groups. If we're telling you who to pick to be around, guess what? This is one of them, especially if you come and join and find this information that resonates with you.
That is the key. And if you don't see that, if you don't see the value, because I know this is valuable, you don't know the price that I know he paid, and you know the price that I paid to get just this week. I think I purchased about 3 books. And one of the books you know about, I got a Almanac. You know about the Almanac? You know what I'm talking about? The Lamb. Yep. I just purchased that 2021. So you know, it's a reason why I'm getting these books for a reason. Get this back in here to invest back in myself. So the investment has to be given back. So I expect it. Yeah, I expect it. But what happened? This is so powerful. If you don't, you came here for a reason, because on some level this resonates with you. You can't come and keep coming back if this on some level doesn't resonate with you. There's so many other people talking about game. So many people talking about relationship. There's so many people who infuse spirituality to what they're talking about. But with the combination that's here, I'm beyond like a bartender. I'm the bartender, the DJ. I'm everything in one spot. There's a reason why you keep coming back here, because hint, hint, you found your tribe.
Yeah. Or at least the next level. Sometimes you need to recognize from afar that, wait a minute, what I'm in right now doesn't look right, because look how they look. You could be literally on this stream right now and still be looking through a window. You're not really inside yet. Where you're inside is if you start paying attention. If you start paying attention, then you'll see if information is valuable, and then you'll give toward the cause. But what I can tell you is that there's a situation that if you stay a spectator, guess what? If you go to a game and you're a spectator, all you're doing is watching the players get all the action. So are you a spectator here, or are you one of the players on the field? Think about it.
That's very true. Thank you. What you deliver digs below the surface, right? It has never been surface with me. Never been. So you're right. So many people are just spectators, and they are not participators in what's going on. That's what make a tribe different from another tribe. It's because, how can I say this? This tribe here has always been about the gospel of responsibility and action. If there's anything, and you listen to any of my things, you realize at the end of the day, test to see whether what we're saying here, if it's true, and put it to work. There's always, when I used to be in high school, I used to be a part of the yearbook staff. And one of the things I did was I took the pictures at different events. But back then, what we used to do, we take pictures, and I used to develop in the dark room. One of the key things that I learned, that you got to put it in this solution, take it out, let it sit, put it in another one, so that the picture can develop. What I'm doing right now, if you listen to what we're saying, is that you're in development.
Yeah, and there are different stages of that development. How many stages are you in? Did you start off in and put too much potency in the first solution without getting to the next stage? My dad was an old school advertising photographer, so we're on the same page right now. Yeah, I'm telling you, those stages of development are very important. And if you want to take the strategic alignment with what we're talking about right here is you need to make sure that what level you're on is respected and you take the right time in whatever stage you're supposed to be in. So a lot of people think, oh, well, I'm 25 or I'm 35 or I'm 40 or 50, whatever age you're at, these were stages of development. And if you are at a particular development stage where you think, oh, wait, you know what? It's time for change. Sometimes your ego and sometimes your subconscious, they all come and say, it's time for change. I need something different in my life. It's because you're being called to a new platform and a new tribe, a new place to belong to. And sometimes it's not the place where you used to be. I grew up in the church. I was an altar boy at 4 years old. I grew up in the Episcopalian church, and I actually felt like I had to be, in this particular dwelling because my family was there for over 100 years in that one church, and I felt like I had to belong and whatever. And then something when I turned 18, it called on me. I was like, something is up. I don't know what it is, but it just beckoned me to keep going forward. I never left the church. I just went to another church. And when I went there, I felt like I was being fed differently. Felt like I was being fed with technology, not 100 years of tradition. And I felt like it had to be going something on in me to really move my life forward. And it catapulted me. The very next year, I was able to get married. The very next year after that, I was able to buy my first house. I felt catapulted. And I'm not saying the church does that for you, but I'm just saying a group of people that I was around back then was keeping me in tradition. Oh, you're too young for this. Oh, you're too young for that. Oh, take your time, blah, blah, blah. And I realized that's why maybe a lot of people in my family did things late. Now, when I get to the progressive end of where I went and moved forward to, things were happening in my life. I was in college, a homeowner, a married man, moving forward, had cars, everything, literally in my early 20s. It's because I wanted to move forward. And when you beg the universe to push you forward, they'll put you with the right people to do that. But if you don't ask for it, you won't get it and you'll stay stuck.
So what you're saying is that sometimes people's tribes are keeping them hostage.
Keeping them comfortable, and comfort is not happiness. Right. I'll tell you that.
Right. Keeping them comfortable, hostage to where they've been at, and not to where they need to be at. Some of you need to jump ship today. You need to jump ship today and get to the tribe you need to be at. If you never made that transition, Jono, guess what would have happened? You would have continued to transition, and your children, you probably wouldn't even be where you're at right now. We wouldn't be talking. I put it that way. If you never made that transition,
I probably would have gotten married in my 30s, and then say I wasn't good at that, I'd probably be sitting here divorced right now, as opposed to learning my lessons early, then starting over, because that's what happens when you mess up or you feel like the things went down the road where you need to learn more lessons instead of getting success. You start over and you do it again. When I started, I was 28, and then I learned from that point. And I turned what used to be failure into success. So now I'm not looking in my 40s like a person who's starting over. And I don't mind even if I have to do that, because you know what? I have the recollection and the trust that starting over is not a bad thing. I can handle it. I'm good at it. And I start over to move forward, not to repeat.
You got to say that again, but you got to put that y'all got to put that in the chat room. I started over to move forward, not to repeat. That needs to be put in the chat room right now. You guys cannot be sleeping on what we're talking about, because you're not going to hear this anywhere else. You start over to what?
To move forward,
not to repeat. You start over to move forward, not to repeat. You need to put that in the chat room. When you do this, it's resonating with you. You gotta realize this is interactive. We are not here to waste your time or anything like that, or waste my time. So you're starting over to what? To move forward, not to repeat. This lets me know that you're paying attention.
We have a real problem in our society. We're waiting. What are you waiting for? Mm-hmm. What are you waiting for? If I got a thing in my head, I was looking at YouTube the other day, and I was like, wow, I like his setup. I really like the stuff that he's doing in terms of being able to be comfortable. And I realize the reason why you don't put out more content because you're not comfortable in the space you're in and you're always thinking about changing it. So if you just eliminate that one fear or that one obstacle, you might have the thing you're looking for. And everybody's telling me, hey, what's your channel? What's this? What's that? And I said, the only reason why I pulled the trigger because I need to be comfortable doing content on a regular basis. So I just went out, I just pulled the trigger. I'm going to go get all the equipment. I'm going to take a shot at it. And I'm going to make it mine. I'm not going to buy somebody else's. I'm going to buy what I think I need to make myself feel comfortable in my space. Working with you on a daily basis is priming the pump. And I like that because I'm around the right person. You're bringing me up.
People don't understand that. And even just us being together with this, you can see what? Wireless mic. I mean, not wireless, but lapel.
Yeah.
Changed my position, not sitting on the couch. I'm more of a you can lighting I'm still working on because I want it a certain way because I'm not satisfied with it. But you can see the transition from how I did things. See a little can on the back, little thing. I had to buy that yesterday. I was supposed to be sitting on this, but it's too high. So what's I got to go back do? Go back to my chair, sit down in the chair, and I'm more
refining. You're constantly refining it. I changed my lights this weekend. I don't know if you noticed, it's brighter.
Yeah.
It's brighter, and it can get a lot brighter now, and I can change the temperature. This is just more things because I think that if you know we're going in the right direction, then the universe puts all the pieces in place for you to do it. And when the universe takes things away and stops things from happening, you're in the wrong place. And you got to realize that if the last time you hung out with your friends, did the cop pull you over and somebody got a ticket, that might be a little sign that you were not in the right place. Not that you were doing something illegal, but sometimes it's giving you a little prod in the side saying, hey, maybe that wasn't a great idea last weekend. Okay. Oh, if you're hanging out with a girl and like one gentleman said, oh, she's draining you, maybe, if you picked up on that, you probably are sensing that you might have to make a little change. Either give them a little encouragement to not be such a drain on you, or make your exit because you don't deserve to get pulled at. And you know what? You were put here to have an experience. Why are you messing that experience up?
What did our grandfather used to say? What did he say? We are just God having how did he say it? We're
just human. We're humans having a God experience on earth. God sent you here to have a human experience.
Gee, God sent you here to have a human experience. If you realize what you were supposed to do here, you will level up at so many levels. Then you will start playing with people who still want to be human and realize they're not part of your tribe.
If you knew God was your father and he sent you to here just to have a human experience, you'd realize you could tap into so much more. So much more. And I'm not saying align yourself with all these God type people. We're not saying that. What we're saying is you have a higher potential for greatness. And I could tell you, I could prove it to you. The last accomplishment you had, track that back to the accomplishment you had before that. If you leveled up in those two accomplishments, then that's just proof that you can make another step. Don't stop. Your age didn't stop you. Your ability physically didn't stop you. Your family didn't stop you. Your children don't stop you. Your education don't stop you. These are things that we move forward with. Those are stepping stones and plateaus for the next level of your life.
Right. Salute to Tish. Hey, I know you at work. Thank you for coming in. You be coming in with the notes. I appreciate you. I know you got to get that work in. Right. God talk. Right. You got to understand. So that's why I emphasize about the tribe. Your tribe is identifying you for good or for bad. My team won last night, and I'm happy about it. That's the Browns against the Steelers. My tribe won. But the thing of it is they have not been winning since 1996. Have they been to the playoffs? So what did they do? Constantly making adjustments. This coach go. That one, this what? This quarterback got to go. He add this and this and that. Finally, they found the right tribe to push them to a playoff. Even when the coach was at home in the basement with COVID, they still found something in them to say, we got to go to the next level against a worthy opponent. Don't get me wrong. Steelers are a worthy opponent. But the thing of it is, they had the right combination and the right tribe together to push them to the next level. Now, will they make it to the next beyond that? I don't know. My point is use it as an example of you got to have the right people around you. It took from 1996 to now for them to even make it to a playoffs because it didn't have the right staffing, the right people, the right combination to take them to the next place.
I watched a documentary with that was highlighting the Bulls and Michael Jordan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first team games he ever played before he was even out of high school, I believe. Was it high school or college? I'm not sure. It was actually college. Sorry. It was before he became pro, basically. The summer before he came pro, they put him with a team of people that we actually know a few of these players to be the sparring team for that Olympic, that year's Olympics. I think it was, it's got to be the 80s. I got to remember. I'm sorry I'm really bad about years. But basically, Michael Jordan and that team was beating the Olympic team that they were using to make sure they had somebody to play against when they went to the Olympics. He wasn't in the Olympics yet. I remember he went, I believe, in 92, I believe. But before that, before he was even a major force in the NBA, he had potential to beat an Olympic-bound team. Now, what I'm telling you is, did he stop there? Was greatness stop there? No. He went on to win championships. Did he stop at the one championship? No. The following year, he did it. Called a double down. And then the next year was a three-peat. It was like, he never stopped. Even today, his sneakers are still popular because he never stopped making them. He even though he was only in the NBA about a decade or two, he's got 30 years of sneakers. He's got all these enterprises. He kept going. It's actually in the Bible. There's no limit to God's kingdom. My cup runneth over. You're supposed to be looking at it from a standpoint that there's no stop. I mean, you can have this and that. Stop thinking that don't go to the universe like a peasant. Go as a son. Go as a daughter. Go as somebody who deserves it. Now, if you act like it was already yours, you wouldn't be asking for it. You just say, "When do I get it?"
That's deep right there. Let me crystallize this right for some people. Sometimes you may be in the tribe of peasants and not in the tribe of what? Kingdom. Let me say somebody to salute to the Browns. That was the most embarrassing loss in the history of my tribe history. Still a nation. Well, what can I say? But you're right. So you could be in the tribe of peasants and don't realize you're supposed to be in the tribe of kings and sons. And what happens is that peasant mentality will only get you to always begging for what you're supposed to have instead of asking or realizing that it's already yours. My sons can come over my house and realize they don't have to ask, can I go in and can I get that, Dad? No, what do they do? That's
exactly what I'm talking about.
My sons come over here, hey, man. They jump on the internet. Hey, Dad, what's the code to the internet? Boom, 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 boom. Hey, what's in the refrigerator? They go in there and get it, drink up, whatever. I do not worry about it because you know what? They are my sons. Now, a person who is not my son who comes over here, guess what they got to do? Can I go over here? Where's your bathroom? Where can I do this? Can I do that? They always have to be in the place of asking because there is no connection of blood or relation with us.
Yeah, you don't feel part of the tribe. If you go to your friend's house and you don't know that you could go make your own damn sandwich, you should know that you probably not in that tribe properly. You're not properly associated with that person. Okay. And that's the thing. And you made a perfect example. If you know your son or your daughter can come to you for anything, and they ask without hesitation, and it could be something like completely obscure. They know darn well you may have just spent your whole check on bills and blah blah blah, but this person will still come and ask you for something major without hesitation. It's because they know they're your son, they're your daughter, you're the provider. Why can't you do that in your universe? When your money's run out and everything, and you know there's only one person you need to go to. And I didn't want to make this a sermon or anything like that, but you gotta understand there's a provider. The provider is inside you. It's actually the unconscious you on the inside. You need to go inside and start asking for what commanding what you deserve. I told myself, I said, I gotta get a new car. And I'm like, yeah, well, I got 3 cars. It's not like I don't need a car, but I just said I want a new car. I just want to explore what it's going to be like to just go find that new car this year. Because even though I'm not going to wrestle on my mind, do I deserve a new car? Everybody else in my family who didn't. No, it's literally wrestling with yourself. Just create it in the mind, and it will develop in the physical. And I'm telling you, you might be talking yourself out of stuff. You might be in the wrong tribe of yourself in your own mind because you can't even convince yourself to even think of having something nice.
You know what, man? You all in my business, man. We have not talked. Just this weekend, what I did, I went online. I drove past some houses around where I live at, and I'm still debating about whether I'm going to stay in Cleveland or not. But I drove past some houses and said, you know what? Let me go to the realtor where they sell houses at. I looked on there. I said, let me look at the houses that are $1 million. Why not? What do I got to lose? What I did was I began to look, and there was one for about 6. I don't know how much it was, but it was a nice price. But the thing was this: I began to see myself in this house. When I show you the pictures, it's amazing. A lot of windows, but it was spacious. I said, you know what? I can have my studio there. And then I seen the kitchen and everything. I said, this is me. But I said, wait a minute. I thought I wanted to move out of Cleveland, or just is it that I need to move out of where I'm living at? So I began to examine and play with those thoughts. I did not consider whether I had the money or not. I begin to play with, where do I really want to live at? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me tell you a secret, and everybody on this stream can relate to it. And whether you can't, it's just going to take you some time. It's like almost like a grenade. Okay. It's just going to take you a while to figure it out. Okay. Nobody who's ever bought a house can afford it. Nobody. Why? How do I know that? Because 90% of the people who have to buy a house have to get a mortgage. You can't afford it. You can't afford it. You already know you can't. That's why you're ready to think about a bank. You're ready to think about a title company. You're ready to think about insurance and PMI and all this other stuff. The reason why you have to consider that stuff is because you can't afford it. But somehow there are people ready to help you, a team of people, a tribe of people that's willing to help you. Your lawyer, your realtor, your bank, everybody is going to come together to pull this together for you so that you can get something you can't afford. So what are you waiting for? The only person waiting for is the person standing right in front of you. You need to go in the mirror and start yelling at that person because they're stopping you. Get on the same tribe. Even though we're in the same body, my subconscious and my physical needs to start talking to each other and make this happen.
And that is being with the right tribe. Do you know? And it's funny. I'm gonna tell you, and y'all getting some things we normally talk behind the scenes, but it's been several people that I've been connected with recently who have gotten houses by talking with me. I can name two of them, and I think a third one is coming online. Gotten houses by talking with me. Do you understand? It's not so much them getting to the house, it's having the right person to go, it's already yours.
Isn't it funny? It's just changing your mind. When I ask you to go rob a bank and take $1 million, just change your mind. You're powerful enough to do that. Just change your mind. It's easy. You could say, I don't feel like getting up today, and then just change your mind and say, I will get up today. You would be a proactive person today instead of sitting lazy in the bed. It's just that simple. It is that simple. If you just programmed yourself with small changes like that, like getting off your ass, what's going to happen is when it's time to do something, you'll start remembering. The last time I was not motivated, I motivated myself. Now, when it's time to go buy a mansion, yeah, I'm motivated because I remember when I was lazy and I moved and I acted on it and I moved out of that lazy spot. Now I'm moving from a house to a mansion, or maybe from an apartment to a house, or maybe out of your mom's basement into your first studio. It doesn't matter. What has to happen is you got to move, make the decision, make the move. The universe is going to reward you for it.
No, what's powerful, man? I'm going to tell you, when I had my first son, I was married. I had my first son. The first thing I thought about, how in the heavens, and I'm going to take care of this boy. But the interesting thing was, everything began to move. That boy had everything that he needed. He wanted for nothing. Nothing. He had his own room. And by that time he came around, then guess who was coming around? The second one was coming around the block. They wanted for nothing.
Exactly. It wasn't because they were supposed to drop out of the sky. It's because your will and your determination to have them provided for was already a foundational thought. You did not think that I was, oh, you know what? She's gonna take care of those kids. You didn't think that. You thought I'm a man. And the way my mother taught me was I gotta take care of business. So even though everything came, it came because you had a foundational thought that you didn't even have to be convinced that they had to be taken care of. So your universe put all the building blocks in place to make sure that you rose up 2 sons to adulthood as men. Right. And guess what? They got there. They got there because of your sheer will. And now as adults, they got to do the same thing. Right. And because you have a foundation from you, your ancestral foundation that they have built into their head is going to help them take it on transgenerationally.
And that's why it's so important to be around the right tribe. If you're around people who's doing the same thing, ain't going to say, I got people now that's been on the same block since I was a kid to now, because they never left the block mentally or physically. And they're wondering why their life is broken. It's good. They can go to bar. That's cool. But they have never stepped out of the state, let alone out of the country, because their tribe that they're around, that they decided has held them handcuffed to where they are. You don't want to be that. That's the reason why we're having this conversation, because I don't want you to be robbed anymore. I don't want you to be handcuffed to where you at. I am now paying the bail where you're paying the bail with your attention. If you pay attention, you're paying the bail to get you out, to push you into the tribe that you need to be in. And it may be painful for some. You may not like it. Some people may not say you should come back to the tribe. And I cannot do it. My bail has been paid. I will not go to that tribe anymore. I'm going to my next level of freedom.
Yeah. You want to hear something funny? You mentioned the word robbed in your title today, right? And I thought of a very, very interesting verse of scripture. Why? Everybody thought that it was robbery, but to be equal with God. And it's not. It's not robbery. It is not robbery to be equal with God. And if you're not thinking about being equal with God, then you are robbing yourself.
Hold up, stick up, what up? Hold up, stick up, pop, 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 pop. You're robbing yourself, man. You're robbing yourself.
Some people need to be put in a mental institution because they believe things that they put in their own mind about holding themselves back. If you thought that you should just talk yourself out of stuff your whole life and you don't get nothing done, you need to be put in a mental institution because your pessimism is holding you back. No reason for it. There's no excuse for it, but you being sitting on a rock that you're going to stay on that same rock until somebody hits you in the head with another rock.
And you wonder, and they wondering why this ain't game, baby. This is game on steroids right here. Not steroids, but this is game on steroids. Forget it. I don't care what you think. This is game on the next level. Please understand it, because everything we're saying, please understand. I want you to get this, can be applied to relationship wise. That's the reason why I bring the spiritual, bring the this part, that part to say, yes, it can. If you only mitigate game to just, well, interactive woman and this and this and that, you're missing all the rest of parts of your life. You are now crippled. You are main. You are lame, if anything, because you only say, oh, I gotta have game just to get women, man. Just don't apply to women. If you understand what we just said and apply it, your interaction with women, because what we're doing is this is transferable skills. The skills that you go ahead.
I don't walk around in fear. That's the first thing. Okay. We should never walk around in fear. What we do as a people all the time is think about what the consequences are if we move out of our comfort zone. And that should never be. Okay. Even in your relationship, if you are in your comfort zone, what happens is it will not move forward. And what I'm trying to tell you is not all relationships were meant to just be, oh, time to cuddle up in the wintertime and time to go on vacation in the summertime. That is not what relationships are for. Relationships are for multiplication. And I'm not talking about 50% plus 50% makes one. No, wrong equation. You're supposed to be 1 times 1 or 1 times 2 or 2 times 2. It's supposed to all be multiplication. Whatever number you are and whatever number they are is a multiplying factor, which means if the two of you are together, you're supposed to be making multiple times than one person would have done by themselves. Not just 2 times, maybe 4 times, maybe 10 times, maybe 20 times. Okay? Mr. Trump, who's in office, would never have been a success if he didn't have his first wife. His first wife executed all of the ideas that he had in his head. Okay? He didn't execute his ideas. He's a horrible manager. He's a good negotiator. Nobody said he wasn't a bad person. He's a good negotiator. But Ivana, which is his wife, was a good manager. She managed his building. She managed his casinos, and she made them a success. So he had the buying power even later. After his dad stopped giving him money, they had enough leverage to manage the next opportunity. So if you don't have the right person around you to multiply your thoughts, you won't even become president.
But man, man, this is heavy. This is look what Joe just.
I don't hear you no more. Hello? I don't hear you anymore. Your mic is muted. Your mic.
So you need to think about you right now.
Can you hear me? I don't hear you. Can you hear me? Just put up a 1 if you hear me. Put up, you can hear me? Yeah, I can't hear you though. For you, no. Like you're completely silent. Mm-mm. I don't hear you at all.
What about now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Somehow something happened with this browser. I don't know what it is.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this happened. So wow, you are appreciated. I moved to Akron about 4 years ago, and how to bring about 4 years ago, and how you bring the truth is how it needs to be, not the mentality I see around these parts. Thank you, brother. And yo, Akron is about 30 minutes away from me, bro, Corey. So you about 30 minutes from me. So I went to Akron University, so I already know what's going on in Akron. I know. I know about Akron. No, Akron is a small town where people just you have. I was suggesting you might want to get out of that environment. Yo, appreciate the super chat multiplication. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for the super chat. You can hear me good, loud, and clear, down.
Yeah, it's a little different. I think you switch mics, right? So
yeah, my mic is because it's I had to go to the regular mic. I don't know what's happening. My browser wouldn't pick up a mic for some reason. Just
okay. Yeah, I can hear you though. You good? You good? You sound fine.
So, but yeah, definitely, man. That's why you got to have the right people in your life. We had 28. We had 2 minutes, but y'all need to get that super chat. If you like what you just, if you appreciate what we just talked about, if this is making sense to you, you need to be hitting that super chat. You need to be hitting that Cash App. You need to be hitting that PayPal. You need to be hitting these links to let you to show your appreciation to what we're talking about, because this is no joke right here. The reason why.
It's a divine connection. It's a connection between you soaking it up or just the next video you're going to click on today. How about you soak it up by paying some attention to it and using your Cash App to pay that attention and make sure that everybody that you know hears it, forward it, share it, like it, make sure you participate, because if you know this helped you, imagine how many people around you that need to be leveled up so you could be in the right tribe with them.
And think about it. If you have a tribe of, say, 1,000 people, 20,000 people, 30,000 people, do you know what would happen around the world? Do you know you are just one connection in your tribe away from really being where you need to be at? One connection. Just look, Corey is just 30 minutes. Corey, let me go back to your thing. You're 30 minutes away from me on the highway. I was just there in Canton, Ohio on Sunday, dropping my son off, which is after you leave Akron. You're 30 minutes away from me. Do you understand how powerful it is when you connect with the right tribe, when you connect with the right people, when you are connected? You're one person. Really, the real truth is you're actually no person away, because you realize every person in your life is you.
You're giving them too much.
That was like, that was over the top. I know.
And trying to get people to take responsibility. If you take responsibility and realize to just look in the mirror and take responsibility for everything that's going on in your life, then we could take them down that road about everyone they're meeting is actually them. But they're not ready for that yet.
Yeah, no. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't do that, Jono. That's unfair. That's like giving a child some steak. I should not do that. My little niece, my little Dakota bear, if I try to give, she can eat a little bit. She's getting her teeth in now, but if I try to give her some filet mignon, she'll be like, I don't want that. That's just unfair. I shouldn't do that. She said, don't do that. He said, don't do that. Don't say that. yeah, I can't say that. But understand, because I'm good about doing an hour. Please understand. Go back and listen to what we said. Go back and listen to what was said Friday. Go back and listen and share it. Share, like, and tell someone about this. But most of you guys, and I understand you coming in, you show your appreciation. Yeah, that was out there. Yeah, that was out there, brother. Yeah, I know that was out there. That was a little, that was, if I was to teach on that would have to be some talk behind the paywall to talk on that level. About the no person, yeah. Because if I can get you that, can I say one thing though, gentlemen?
Try it. Go.
Let me try to see, you know. She was really you. She was really you. Oh boy, she was really
the last minute. You did that the last minute. We gotta go. We gotta go.
I know, I gotta go. She was really you. All you players out there, pimps and playboys, and when y'all want to do it, she was really you.
You need to do we need to do a whole teaching just on that. Like if you put that up as a subject, it will confuse and dismay so many people because they don't understand why do I have to take responsibility for the things that happen in my life.
That's why I teach the gospel of responsibility over here. The gospel of responsibility, something not taught in your church, not taught in many synagogues, temples, places of worship. The gospel of responsibility. You said, but definitely understood that. Okay. I hope you understood what I was just saying, because it was super potent. I'm gonna tell you this: what I just said about she was really you. A pimp understands that. That's why he can always snatch a hoe.
True.
That's
only fishermen will always recognize a fisherman from afar.
You almost got him.
If I'm the game of being a fisherman and I see a fish, guess what? I'm gonna reel you in. I know how to do it.
You almost got him.
If you got somebody in your life that you don't have, I'm not gonna say control over, meaning that they gotta be your zombie or something like that. If you don't have control of how the people in your life are behaving, then you have not accepted the fact that you brought them there to play in the act in. Oh my goodness, I'm about to say the wrong thing again.
Don't do it.
If you don't realize that you are running the Shakespeare play, remember, Shakespeare was never in any of his plays. You know that, right? He wrote them and he knew who the actors were. Okay. And you recognize Shakespeare and all the positions that each players play. Where are you in your play? Where are you in your theater? Are you standing on stage telling the actors what to do? Or are you sitting in the audience as a participator? What are you doing? Oh my God, this is crazy. I don't know why we went down this road.
I know, man. We shouldn't do it to them like this. Dun, 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 dun.
It's like we're leaving them in a loop, in a mental loop.
Like, hey, what? And we're not going to finish it. You know what? Let's talk tomorrow and see what happens tomorrow. Woo, wow. It all comes back to you. This talk is liberating to hear. Sigma, I appreciate that. For the people that are watching, this is wonderful. Oh, we got to do something. Since John was here, he give us the number for the day.
I'm going to say the number is 1 + 1 = 2. 2. The number is 2.
The number is 2. I'll be the first one to put it in the chat room. The number today is 2. Because I almost got to the end of the show one time. I forgot the number. Somebody's like, "Hey, you didn't give the number for the day." I'm like, "Oh, I forgot." So I was pumping the music. All right, wait a minute. I forget the number. I had closed. Put my camera down, had the music going, and I see somebody in the chat room like, "Hey, you didn't get a number today." So the number today is 2. 2. 2. There you go. There you guys. Now you're getting it. 2. Because
I gotta run, man. My phone is ringing. I gotta go.
Pete, see you later.
Take
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Well, he's gone. So that's it. See you guys later. Have a good evening. We're out of here. This is Lawrence D. Adams. Then we